If you're over 60 and you wake up every single morning feeling wiped out, no energy, no drive, and you've noticed that things just aren't working the way they used to down there, I need you to stop blaming your age right now, because the truth might surprise you more than you think. Most men your age are unknowingly starving their circulation of the exact fuel it needs every single night. And fixing that? It's as simple as taking one small spoonful of the right food before you go to bed. I'm Dr. Grace Holloway, a physician specializing in men's health and sexual vitality. I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I've sat across from thousands of men in their 60s, 70s, even their 80s, who walked into my office convinced that the best years of their life were behind them. I'm here to tell you that in most cases, they were dead wrong. Today, I'm going to share with you one of the best-kept secrets in men's health. Because while everyone's talking about morning workouts, protein shakes, and testosterone pills, the real magic happens while you sleep. That's when your body is actively rebuilding blood vessels, restoring hormone levels, and sending blood exactly where you need it most, as long as it gets the right fuel to do the job. I'm going to walk you through 7 simple, delicious foods you can eat before bed that have the power to improve your circulation, rebuild your muscles, and restore your vitality, even if you're already in your 70s or 80s. Stay with me, because I'm going to reveal one food that many of my patients call a natural alternative to those little blue pills. And just one spoonful before you hit the pillow could completely change how you feel when you wake up tomorrow morning. But before we dive into these powerful nighttime foods, make sure you hit subscribe and tap that notification bell so you don't miss any of the strategies I share specifically for men over 60 who want to take back their strength, their energy, and their confidence. Now, first things first, you need to understand why blood flow to that region declines so fast after 60, and why nighttime is actually the best window to fix it. Here's something your regular doctor probably never told you. The blood flow to your intimate area isn't just about sexual performance. It's deeply connected to your overall health, your sense of identity as a man, and your quality of life. When I first started my practice back in the early 2000s, I had a patient, I'll call him Robert, a 71-year-old retired firefighter from Chicago. Big guy, strong handshake, the kind of man who never complained about anything. But he sat down in my office one afternoon and he just broke down. Said it had been over a year since he felt like himself. And he wasn't just talking about sex. He was talking about a deep disconnection from who he was as a man. That conversation changed the way I practice medicine. As we get older, our bodies produce less and less nitric oxide. Now, if you've never heard of nitric oxide, here's why it matters. It's a molecule that helps relax and widen your blood vessels so that blood can flow freely throughout your entire body, especially to the areas that need it most. And here's the kicker. During deep sleep, your body releases growth hormones, repairs tissues, and rebalances your entire nervous system. But without the right building blocks, without the right fuel going in before bed, your body simply cannot do that repair work overnight. It's like trying to run a construction crew with no materials on site. Nothing gets built. So let's get into the foods. The first one is Tart cherry juice. That slightly sweet, slightly sour, deep red drink that you've probably walked right past at the grocery store 100 times without giving it a second thought. Let me tell you why that's a mistake. I had a patient, I'll call him George, a 69-year-old retired truck driver from Nashville, Tennessee. Solid guy, married 40 years, but he came to me frustrated. He said mentally he was all there, but physically his body just wasn't cooperating anymore, especially in the bedroom. He felt like the engine was running, but nothing was getting delivered. What makes Tart cherry juice special is that it's one of the single richest natural sources of melatonin you can find. And melatonin isn't just for falling asleep. When your sleep is deeper and more restorative, your body does a dramatically better job of repairing and rebuilding during those overnight hours. On top of that, Tart cherries are loaded with anthocyanins, natural compounds that fight inflammation and actively stimulate nitric oxide production. George started drinking a small glass, about half a cup, roughly 30 minutes before bed. Within a few days, he was falling asleep faster. Within 2 weeks, he was waking up less during the night. And around the 3-week mark, he mentioned almost as an aside that his morning erections were coming back stronger. He hadn't expected that. He definitely wasn't complaining about it. I'd love to know where all of you are watching from right now. Drop your city or state in the comments. I read every single one and I try to give shout outs in my next video. We've got men watching from all over the country. And honestly, it means the world to me to know this content is reaching guys who need it. The second food is pumpkin seeds. Yeah, those little flat green seeds that usually end up in a trail mix you pick up at the gas station. Don't underestimate them. I had a patient, I'll call him Arthur, a 66-year-old retired high school football coach from Texas. Arthur came to me because he was getting up 3, sometimes 4 times a night to use the bathroom. He was exhausted every single morning. His wife was exhausted too because he kept waking her up. And because he wasn't sleeping, everything else was suffering. His energy, his mood, and yeah, his performance. Here's what most people don't know about pumpkin seeds. They're packed with magnesium, which relaxes the smooth muscle in your blood vessel walls so blood can actually move through more freely. They're also one of the best natural sources of zinc, which is critical for testosterone production and prostate health. And the phytosterols in pumpkin seeds? Those can actually help shrink an enlarged prostate, which means fewer midnight bathroom runs, which means better sleep, which means better circulation overall. Everything connects. Arthur started taking a small handful, about 1 to 2 tablespoons, before bed every night. Within a few weeks, he cut his nighttime bathroom trips in half. He was sleeping longer, waking up more rested, and he told me with a grin that things between him and his wife were a lot better than they'd been in years. Now here's something I want to ask all of you directly, because it helps me make better content. What's your biggest challenge right now? Type 1 in the comments if it's low energy and fatigue in the morning. Type 2 if it's difficulty with intimate function. Your answers genuinely shape what I cover in future videos, so please take 2 seconds to do that. The third food is almond butter, and I want you to really sit with this one because just 1 tablespoon before bed could honestly be more effective than anything you'd find in a pill bottle at the drugstore. I had a patient, I'll call him Walter, a 74-year-old widower from Phoenix, Arizona. Walter had started dating again after losing his wife, and he came to me quietly embarrassed. Everything else was fine, he said. His head was in the right place, his heart was open, but his body wasn't responding the way he needed it to. Almond butter is rich in magnesium, which, as we talked about, helps relax your blood vessels. It's got healthy fats that directly support hormone production. But the real star here is arginine, an amino acid that your body converts directly into nitric oxide. That's the molecule responsible for helping you achieve and maintain blood flow right where you need it most. I told Walter to try 1 tablespoon of almond butter on a piece of whole grain toast before bed. 2 weeks later, he walked into my office a different man, shoulders back, smiling, said he felt like he'd turned the clock back 15, maybe 20 years. I've heard that kind of thing more times than I can count, and it never gets old. The fourth food is soft-boiled eggs, yolk still runny, not hard-boiled. And most men completely overlook this one as a natural nitric oxide activator. I had a patient, I'll call him Dennis, a 68-year-old retired professor from Boston who came to me pretty skeptical. He'd tried everything, he said, vitamins, supplements, those herbs you see advertised on late-night TV. Nothing had made a real difference. He wasn't sure eggs at nighttime were going to change that. But here's the thing about eggs that most people miss. Yes, there's plenty of protein, but the real power is in the leucine, an amino acid that stimulates muscle growth, helps balance hormones, and promotes the release of nitric oxide. Eggs also contain vitamin D, which directly supports healthy testosterone levels, and vitamin B12, which improves nerve signaling. And that matters a lot for sensitivity and arousal. Dennis added 2 soft-boiled eggs to his evening routine. After about 10 days, he noticed his morning erections were significantly stronger. He was also waking up less to use the bathroom. He emailed me a few weeks in and said, "I don't know what I expected, but this wasn't it," in the best possible way. The fifth food is Greek yogurt, and this one works on 2 levels at once. I had a patient, I'll call him Carl, a 70-year-old former high school basketball coach from Ohio. Carl still had a firm handshake and a loud laugh, but privately he told me he felt like a shadow of the man he used to be. He'd been a physical guy his whole life, and the decline in his body had hit him harder psychologically than he let on. Here's what makes Greek yogurt uniquely powerful for men at night. It contains 2 types of protein working on different timelines. whey protein, which gets absorbed quickly and kicks off muscle repair right away, and casein protein, which digests slowly and keeps feeding your muscles for hours while you're asleep. That double action means your blood vessels and muscle tissue are getting continuous nutrition straight through your deepest sleep cycles. Every night, Carl started making himself a bowl of Greek yogurt with a handful of chia seeds, a sprinkle of cinnamon, and half a banana. Within 3 weeks, he was waking up more rested than he had in years. His morning energy was noticeably better. And he told me he'd reconnected with his wife on a level they hadn't experienced since their 50s. That's not nothing, people. That is everything. The sixth food is what I call my personal recovery shake. And this is a recipe I've been recommending to patients for well over a decade now. The base is 3 things: whey protein for fast muscle repair, collagen peptides to support your connective tissue and vascular health, and leucine, that same amino acid I mentioned with the eggs, which activates the muscle building pathways that tend to shut down in older men. I had a patient, I'll call him Ed, a 75-year-old retired construction worker from Pittsburgh. Ed had lost a significant amount of muscle mass after knee surgery, and it had derailed his confidence in almost every area of his life. He came to me looking tired, moving slowly, and honestly a little defeated. I put Ed on this shake. 1 scoop of whey protein, 1 scoop of collagen, about 3 grams of leucine, all mixed into unsweetened almond milk with a dash of cinnamon. Within a few weeks, his posture improved. His endurance came back, and with those physical changes came something I see again and again. His confidence came roaring back. He stood taller, he laughed more. He started showing up differently for his wife and his grandkids. I share that story because I want all of you to understand something important. This isn't just about sexual function. When your body works better, your whole life works better. Your mood, your relationships, your sense of purpose, all of it rises together. Now, let me talk about what I call the missing piece, because this is what separates the men who see results from the men who stay stuck. I had a patient, I'll call him Dave, a 68-year-old retired accountant from Seattle. Dave was doing a lot of things right. He was walking every morning, watching his diet, taking his vitamins, but he was still feeling flat and stuck. And the reason why is something I see constantly in men his age. He was going to bed with nothing, or worse, grabbing a handful of crackers or a bowl of ice cream that spiked his blood sugar, disrupted his hormones, and basically told his body to stop doing repair work for the night. Here's the truth. Your body needs specific, targeted nutrients while you sleep in order to support circulation, rebuild muscle, and regulate hormone levels. Going to bed without the right fuel is like asking your body to do a complete overnight renovation with an empty toolbox. It's not going to happen. When Dave started doing intentional nighttime nutrition, just one of the foods I've shared with you tonight, he noticed better sleep within 2 weeks. Within a month, he told me it felt like he had finally come back to himself. His words, not mine. Now I know a lot of you want to know, how long does this actually take to work? Let me walk you through a realistic timeline because I think it's important to set honest expectations. I had a patient, I'll call him Mike, a 71-year-old retired postal worker from Columbus, Ohio. Mike was one of those guys who does things right once he commits. He put together a consistent nighttime routine using the foods I've shared here, and here's what happened. By night 7, he was sleeping deeper with fewer interruptions. By day 14, his morning energy had improved noticeably. His morning erections had returned, natural, consistent, firm, something he genuinely thought was gone forever. By day 30, his endurance in the bedroom had increased. He wasn't rushing to the bathroom at 2 a.m. anymore, and he described feeling physically stronger in a way that wasn't just muscular. It was emotional. He felt present again, connected again, like himself again. Now, a lot of you have also been asking about specific combinations. Whether you can use more than one of these foods at the same time. The answer is yes, absolutely. In fact, I recommend it. A great starting point is combining the Greek yogurt base with a tablespoon of almond butter and a small handful of pumpkin seeds before bed. That covers your magnesium, your arginine, your zinc, your casein protein, and your healthy fats all in one simple snack. Add Tart cherry juice on the side and you've got a genuinely powerful nighttime protocol that takes about 3 minutes to put together. I also want to address something that came up in the comments on one of my recent videos, and I appreciate the man who asked this because I know a lot of you have the same question. He asked whether ejaculation timing, specifically finishing too quickly, is something that can be addressed naturally. The honest answer is yes, to a meaningful degree. Better blood flow, improved hormone balance, and stronger nerve signaling, all of which are supported by the foods I've shared today, can contribute to better control over time. I'll be doing a dedicated video on that topic very soon, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. I also want to acknowledge something that doesn't get talked about enough. A lot of men watching this right now are in their 70s, their early 80s. You've maybe been told by someone, a doctor, a family member, maybe even yourself, that at your age, this stuff just isn't in the cards anymore. I am here to tell you that is simply not true. I have seen men in their late 70s and even their 80s experience genuine, meaningful improvements in their energy, their circulation, and their intimate lives. Age is a factor, yes, but it is not a verdict. The most important thing I want to leave you with today is this: you are not broken. I don't care what your last lab results said. I don't care how long it's been. I don't care what your buddies at the golf course tell you about just getting older. You are not broken. You can rebuild. I've sat across from some incredible men who had bought into the lie that getting older means giving up. And I've also watched what happens when a man decides to stop accepting that and starts giving his body what it actually needs. I've seen marriages transform. I've seen men in their 70s get their confidence back in ways that rippled into every area of their lives. Their relationships got better. Their moods got better. They showed up differently for their kids and grandkids. Your body hasn't stopped working. It's been waiting for you to understand just how powerfully it responds to the right kind of care. Tonight, you have a choice. You can go to bed the same way you did last night, or you can take one small action, just one spoonful of the right food, and make a quiet commitment to yourself that you're not done yet, that you still want to feel, to connect, to live fully. You don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. Start with one step, just one step that tells your body, I'm still here. I'm still in this. If this video helped you, even a little bit, please don't keep it to yourself. Hit that like button so YouTube knows this content matters and helps me reach more men who need it. And share it with a friend, a brother, a neighbor who might be struggling in silence. You never know the kind of impact that one share can have. Drop a comment and let me know which of these nighttime foods you're going to try first. I genuinely read every comment. Your story matters to me. And it might be exactly what another man needs to hear to take his first step. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified every time I drop new content on men's health. I release new videos every week specifically for men over 60 who are done settling and ready to feel like themselves again. Thank you for watching. Thank you for choosing to take care of yourself. And remember, it is never too late to start feeling better.